Okay, well, welcome to our 10 a.m. meditation class. We have this class on Saturdays and Sundays every week. And let's see, so we always start our class by establishing our motivation. So it's important to always begin any activity that we do with a compassionate motivation. Um, And this is especially true when we sit down to meditate or to pray. Um, but even if we're doing something like just washing the dishes, we can start by setting a compassionate motivation, and then our actions have like a better, broader impact. They can become part of our, uh, positive impact on the world. So let's just take a moment to make the wish that our meditation together today brings immeasurable benefit not only to ourselves, but to all sentient beings. The, the meditation that we'll be doing today is called Shamatha meditation. And this is taught in Jetsama's book, Stabilizing the Mind. So Jetsama Akanlamo is the founder of this temple. And she wrote a book called Stabilizing the Mind, which is a really great primer for meditation. It's a very short, easy to read book that is really great if you're interested in pursuing more meditation on your own. It's a really great book. So the instruction for this class comes from that book. But this is a meditation practice that's practiced in all forms of Buddhism. And the Buddha actually said it was his favorite practice. Um, his practice of just watching the breath. Sorry, but dry throat. So the Buddha said this was his favorite practice. And this practice, you don't have to be Buddhist to do this kind of meditation. It doesn't require a belief in anything, other than maybe your own capacity for change. And so the first question, I guess, is why do we do this meditation? And the point of this meditation is to create space in the mind. And creating space in the mind helps us to balance our emotions. It gives us a little bit of room between action and reaction, between whatever is happening in our lives and our response to it. It gives us a little bit of room there. And normally we are so entranced by the activity of our life. It's kind of like watching a TV where you're just really entranced in the TV and you can't look away. And all of us go through periods of time when we're more active or more introspective. And some people that might be like within the same hour or within the same day. We have different kind of rhythms for how much we are in our activity phase or in our more introspective phase. But when we're in an action, a more aggressive, more active phase, we're just really just barreling through our life, really entranced by everything that's going on. And then we reach our introspective phase and we maybe pull our energy back in a little bit, and we're able to kind of look and go, why did I say that? Or what did I, was that, where am I at emotionally, or what's going on inside? You can have a moment of pause. And so we all have those moments when we can do that. But what's really hard to do is to do that and have that introspection when we're in an activity phase. And when we're caught up in our lives, it's really difficult to disengage and pull back and look at our mind in an objective way, or see what's going on in our mind, or to have the space to not just follow our habitual patterns of action. If you've ever just felt you respond to someone in a way where it's just like habit. You just maybe you gossip out of habit, or maybe you say something that you're like, why did I say that later? And it was just like a habit. So it's really hard when we're in that activity phase to have the space to uh, just not just follow those habitual reactions. So when we meditate, we build this habit of space in the mind. We build a habit of making that space, of allowing that space, and then we're able to have that kind of um, that spaciousness, that detachment from our thoughts and emotions that allows us to be more objective and be more like, is acting on that anger going to help me stay in my values? Probably not. Maybe I won't act on that anger. Like it gives us enough space to choose responses that are in line with who we want to be in the world, how we want to be in the world. Um, even when we're really busy and in it, in our lives, we can still have that space to do it. So we also meditate because that spaciousness that we build through meditation is one of the ways in Buddhism. It's one of the ways that we prepare for death. So that's kind of the ultimate test in our life of where's your mind at, is at the moment of death. And we don't know when that will be, ever. Could be any time. And we don't know if we'll be driving a car or asleep in our bed or whatever. It could be anywhere. And so, thinking of the moments of our day and how uh, stirred up and reactive we can become in just the normal circumstances of our life. Um, you know, at this critical moment of death, it could be a very stressful moment. Where is our mind at? Are we going to be able to have peace in that moment? Are we ready to be able to hold space for ourselves to encounter that transition with peace and with approaching it with whatever spiritual practices we want to use? Even if you're not Buddhist, we all are going to die. So however, are you going to be ready to just have that space to transition the way you want to? So meditation is that's like the Buddhist retirement plan. We really want to make sure that we are prepared for that moment, because it's inevitable. That's like the one certainty in life, is that we'll have that moment. So so there's a number, and then of course meditation is also great for lowering your blood pressure and all these other wonderful things. But those are some of the reasons that we meditate. Also, that space in the mind that we create is the first step in the development of bodhicitta, which is the compassionate wish to free all sentient beings from suffering. So when we don't have space, when we're really caught up in our thoughts, we tend to have a habit of being self-focused and thinking about our own comfort, our own safety. We have to kind of have some space in order to think of others. We have to have some spaciousness in order to, bring others into our heart, to expand our awareness and our focus to the well-being of others. So, that is also why we meditate. So let's try it. What we're going to do is we're going to do a short 5-minute meditation, and then we'll just take a little break, and then we'll do a longer meditation. So take a comfortable seat. If you're watching online, you can sit cross-legged on the floor, or you can sit in a chair. Either is fine. What's most important, however you're sitting, is to have a straight back, to have a straight spine. So if you are sway backed, you might need like a pillow under your bum to get the right posture. Or if you're, or sometimes people, it helps to like lean against a wall. If you, have a curved back, that can be helpful. But having that straight back is very important. And then your hands are going to be just in your lap, gently relaxed. Traditionally, we hold our hands like this, with one hand and the other with the thumbs touching, and placing them right below, so your thumbs are right below your navel, but you can also just rest them on your thighs. And then Our shoulders are open and back. We're not collapsed in on ourselves in any way. We're sitting up straight with good posture, and our elbows are out a little bit. So we're really not constricting. Our elbows are out in kind of a relaxed way. If your hands are in this position, it kind of happens naturally. But then if you're on your laps, it's just, not collapsing in. And then your eyes are going to stay open. In our tradition, we meditate with the eyes open. So you can follow the bridge of your nose. Just imagine a line going down, down, down to the ground, and find a point along that line where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. And then lastly, place the tip of your tongue right behind your front teeth. It's like saying the letter L. Then allow yourself to relax completely and breathe normally. Just relax into your natural rhythm of breathing. And then put a very light attention on your breathing. Don't try to control it at all. Just breathe in your natural rhythm with the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's like taking your pulse. You don't put any pressure on it, just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. And while you're meditating, thoughts will come up, and that's okay. When thoughts come up, just let them go like bubbles popping on the surface of a pond. Don't even look to see what they are. Don't check to see if it's a good thought or a bad thought. As soon as a thought comes up and you notice it, just let it go. Your meditation is not lost by hearing your thoughts, but by following them down the road. So anytime you notice that you've drifted away from your breath, that you're following a thought along, just drop it, let it pop, and return to your breath. If it's really difficult for you to dismiss your thoughts, you could imagine picking them up with tongs and dropping them, or visualize cutting them up with scissors and throwing them away. You can get, or whatever works for you, whatever kind of imagery works for you, you could do that if you're having trouble letting them go. But you always return to that single pointed concentration on your breath, letting the thoughts go and returning again and again to the gossamer thin attention on your breath. So that's our first round of meditation. So when we're meditating, our thoughts come up. It can be very difficult to disengage from them and to let them go and return to the breath, because it's not our habit to. But a lot of people, when they start to meditate, they think maybe they're not very good at meditation because their mind isn't quiet, and because they have so many thoughts in their head, and they think, well, I can't meditate. But the point of this meditation is not to have a quiet mind like that. Like, it's not intended to make the thoughts shut up. It's not intended to make them go away. It's just changing the way we respond to them. And so, so the thoughts are used to getting our attention. Our mind is usually able to get our attention very well. And so as soon as we have a thought, we turn our attention to it, we follow it along. And when we start not following our thoughts, when we just let them, they're chatting at us and you're just staying with the breath, that thought's going to get louder. Your thoughts sometimes get louder, and it's like a kid when they start going, mom, 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 and they really try to get your attention. My toddler the other day wanted a fruit roll-up, and I was talking to my husband, and my toddler came up and just grabbed my face and turned my face to his and was like, fruit roll-up. I was like, okay. And so that's what our minds are going to do while we're meditating. And it doesn't mean anything's going wrong in your meditation. That's normal. That's part of the process. So if it's happening and your mind's getting really loud, like, don't be deterred by that. That's normal. And you just come back to your breath. You just let it go and come back to the breath. And your mind can get really crazy with it. It'll really try to think, be like, you left the oven on, or the house is going to blow up, or, like, it's like, you've got to listen to me. It'll get really crazy sometimes, or think something, or like, it can be very provocative that, maybe you think things that really will get a rise out of you, and it's just trying to get your attention. So you just let it go and come back to the breath. And it's important to not judge yourself. Because there's some days it'll be easier to do that, and some days it'll be more difficult to do that. And the progress is not linear, really, like that. So even experienced meditators will have days or weeks where it's like a lot more challenging to meditate, and that happens. And then that's just, it doesn't mean that the medicine is not working. Like, what meditation does for the mind, the way that it is medicine for the mind, even if your experience doesn't feel particularly relaxing, or it doesn't feel like you're doing a good job, just trying to do it, that it will work. Like, it does work. It doesn't have to feel like you did a good job in order for the medicine to work. Yeah, you just show up again the next day and you try again. So so we're going to meditate for a little bit longer. So we'll do a 15-minute meditation. So I'll just get back to our meditation posture. If you noticed in the first meditation, if you noticed anything uncomfortable about how you're sitting, you could adjust that now. We have our back is straight. Our hands are on our lap, gently relaxed. Our eyes are looking downward, following the bridge of the nose, finding a point along that line where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. Allow yourself to relax completely and breathe naturally. And put a very light attention on your breathing. Don't try to control it at all. Just breathe as you normally would, with the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. that is our meditation for today. So at the end of our class, we say these dedication prayers, 3 dedication prayers. Do you need a sheet? I have extras here. Long, do you need a sheet? Yeah, yeah, that's the right one. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I have accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice, and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have. Similarly, I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. And by this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. Well, thank you so much for coming.